How is everybody doing? As soon as I get in front of a mic, sometimes I forget how to speak English. So if I start speaking Spanish, just remind me. Hello, all. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Olympia Jett, and I had the pleasure of being an intern with Western Resilience this fall. Today, I am presenting to you my internship project, Combating Drought with Resiliency, the distribution and participation analysis of the 2025 Garden in a Box users in the Yampa Valley. And maybe. I also break computers with my presence. There we go. Thank you. All right, so a little bit about me. My name is Olympia Jett. I'm originally from Cedar City in southern Utah, and this is my sixth season living in the Yampa Valley. Here I found Colorado Mountain College, where I received my Associates of Arts in Outdoor Education, a GIS certificate, and I will be graduating with my Bachelor's of Arts in Sustainability Studies next week. Um, When I started at when I started as a general studies student at CMC, I had no concept of what I wanted to do in life or what I was passionate about. But through the incredible teachers and classes and opportunities that I've been given over the past 5 years of college, I have found my passions in geospatial and data visualization, resiliency, stewardship, and storytelling. All right. I Through this internship, I had the pleasure of being mentored by Dakota Dallin and Sally Caribou. Every Monday, Cody would organize speakers and clinics to help us understand what it means to work within the field of sustainability, as well as the abundance of opportunities that exist, the roles local government and business play in our community's pursuit towards resiliency. I was very fortunate to have Sally Caribou as my personal mentor. If you are lucky enough to know her, you know how fun, driven, and intelligent she is. And it's just been a real pleasure to get to learn from you. At Western Resilient, she wears the hat as resilient water manager, but within the community, she plays various roles, including with the Yampa White Green Roundtable and the Yampa Agricultural Alliance. All right, this internship and Garden in a Box would not be possible without partnerships that include Resource Central, the founder of Garden in a Box, the City of Steamboat, Mount Warner Water District, and Yampa Valley Botanic Park. All right, and for a little bit of background, the Colorado River Basin has been experiencing a mega drought for the last 25 years. And despite being at the top of the watershed, the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation stresses that the Colorado's water supply is provisionally threatened by persistent drought, low runoff, and critically low reservoir levels, causing an increased demand for innovative and creative solutions relating to water conservation in the American West. To address these challenges, Resource Central developed the Garden in a Box initiative, offering do-it-yourself gardens featuring water-wise and pollinator-friendly plants thoughtfully designed for Colorado landscaping. They contain quart-sized perennial plants, a plant by number map, a seasonal maintenance suggestion, and a watering schedule recommendation. Since 2003, Garden in a Box has had profound impacts on the way that many people landscape. Statewide, over 48,000 people with 73,000 kits have been distributed in Colorado since 2003, saving nearly 29 million gallons of water, which is incredible. In recognition of an incredible first season, Western Resilience, Sally, and partners sold an astounding 189 kits the first summer Garden in a Box was introduced to the Yampa Valley, which is absolutely incredible. And for my project objectives, I had two primary objectives for my project. First was to re-engage Garden in a Box users through outreach and collecting testimonials about their experience and photographs of their gardens. Second was to create a visual representation of the distribution and use of Garden in a Box kits within the Yampa Valley. The visual representation in my case was an interactive map, which not only shows where there is high and low concentrations of use, but also highlights urban wildlife corridors, specifically for pollinators. Wildlife corridors or pathways that enable non-human neighbors to travel between habitat areas, improve access to their food, shelter, and breeding grounds, allow them to sustain the ecological services our community depends on. And the methods. The methods I used for my project began with data analyzation and web map making, which I love so much. It's my favorite. Before conducting outreach, I used an Excel spreadsheet containing user information from Garden in a Box participants to create address points within a map. I used Python to format the Excel datasheets and standardize the address fields before processing them through GFI, an online tool that generates bulk latitude and longitude coordinates. Once the data was properly formatted and coded, I imported it into ArcGIS, a popular GIS mapping application, to create an actual map. To protect privacy, I used a geoprocessing spatial tool called Aggregate, which creates hexagonal grid lines that generalize address points, displaying only the counts of kits per area rather than the exact locations. From there, I began conducting outreach by sending emails to all 189 participants. I began the email by introducing myself, who I was representing, who I was working under. I explained the purpose of my outreach and internship project. In addition to asking for testimonials and pictures of gardens. I also included an example of what the map looked like, just so participants could better understand what my project was and that we were prioritizing their privacy. Um, and we did only hear back from approximately 20 participants, which I think is very impressive. Sometimes it's hard to hear back from one. And we did not obtain as many photographs and testimonials as we hoped, but that was just because of the seasonality of my internships. These kits were planted just a few months ago, and I asked people to take pictures of their garden in October. So it's, you know how it is. Not only were, um, yeah, meaning the gardens just weren't developed to their full potential. And the results. Once I had completed outreach and data collection, I got to work and I exported the hexagonal grids I created in ArcGIS Pro into an interactive web map using HTML code on an application called Notepad++. Close your eyes if you get headaches easily. Um, Here's a screenshot of that. And here is a screenshot of the interactive web map. Each hexagon represents a unique count of garden in a box kit with the corresponding numbers of kits and photos displayed within the cell. The color ramp reflects the density of kits. The darker the hexagon, the higher the concentration of gardens in that area. Of the responses I did get, these are my favorite testimonials and garden designs. This is such a fun program, and I told everybody about it in hopes that they will also buy Garden in a Box. In addition to, with more extreme weather events due to the changing climate and directly seeing the impacts of using treated potable water that is wasted to irrigation and runoff that overwhelms sewer collection and wastewater treatment systems, I am motivated to implement a yard landscape that will use water effectively. All right, and moving forward, I have 4 recommendations for Western Resilience Center. First, to analyze and share the emissions and costs associated with Garden in a Box. We know that it saves water and we know that it helps the pollinators, but it also saves electricity. How much is it saving these consumers in electricity? That's a big deal for a lot of people. Second, I would recommend showcasing and rewarding exceptional landscaping. Everybody loves to be celebrated. It's going to increase participation and it's just fun. Third, I would recommend expanding outreach and user demographic to Garden in a Box. Across the entire state of Colorado, the primary users of Garden in a Box are white women who are also homeowners. The initiative benefits everybody, and it would be wonderful to see its reach grow to everybody. And lastly, I would recommend targeting neighborhoods to create resilient and strong connected corridors for our wildlife, specifically our pollinators. In addition to my intern project, I was able to attend and assist a number of other events, including on October 1st, I helped Sally and Jalen at the Youth Water Festival in Hayden, Colorado. And, ooh, On October 20th, I was able to attend the Candidate Environment Forum hosted by Western Resilience for the City Council election in Steamboat Springs. On October 22nd, I attended the first half of the Climate Action Public Open House at the library. The 24th, along with the other interns and I and the rest of the Western Resilience staff, I was able to attend the soiree. Um, Oh yeah, it's somewhere in there. Greeting people and listening to phenomenal stories and music. And on August 5th, I got to help Sally repair a weather monitoring station near Sleeping Giant. Also, I was able to attend a meeting with Sally for the Yampa White Green Roundtable Story Map, where I was able to meet a GIS professional who I have looked up to for years. So that was a really special opportunity. Very serendipitous. Um, and in addition to the internship work I did with Sally, Cody, and the other interns, Paul Boney allowed me to help him create a web map for all the mobile home communities in Routt County and Craig. Each pin in this downloadable web map creates or represents a different mobile home community. They all contain data that shows mobile home park's name, county, address, latitude, longitude, owner type, be it private or cooperative. I'm not sure if you are all familiar, but there's some communities in our town that the trailer owners own the park themselves together. It's a very beautiful thing to read about if you guys are interested. But I live in a trailer park. We're going through that right now, so I'm very passionate about that. Um, Paul was recently awarded a grant to support electrification and energy resiliency in the Yampa Valley. Because mobile home parks are often significant energy consumers, he intends to expand these efforts into the communities that will benefit most. All right, and during the beginning of our internship, we were asked to write out our personal development goals. My first was to improve my technical skills in managing online workspaces and shared platforms, specifically with skills and knowledge using Google Drive, shared workspaces, and organizational strategies. The second was to improve my data collection, organization, and visualization. As a student, utilizing the tools that we have without prompts can be really challenging, and I'm just really proud that I was able to utilize and expand on all these GIS skills, and I feel much better for it. And last, my personal development goal was to gain knowledge on how initiatives are developed and executed. While a 12-week internship can only give a person a taste of how these initiatives are developed and executed, I have learned that initiatives are dynamic, they need to be approached systematically and creatively, and I have found a profound respect for all of you that do this every single day, and you guys make this community as special as of a place as it is. It's really inspiring. Um, and acknowledgements, so many, because there's so many of you to be grateful for. You guys make it really easy, but I would like to first acknowledge all of the amazing professionals who are willing to take the time out of their day to help teach and guide us. This entire experience has been invaluable, and I cannot express how truly appreciative I am for this amazing opportunity. Thank you so much to Cody, and thank you so much to Sally. Both of you guys are so amazing, and just we couldn't have done this without you. You're incredible, incredible mentors. And I could speak on behalf of the other interns that everybody else was as well. Um, and last but not least, thank you to both my co-interns who are absolutely amazing women. I am so proud to have gotten to work alongside and get to know both of you, and I'm really excited to see the amazing things that you will both accomplish. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions.
So you spoke to using the garden in the box as like wildlife corridors. Do you picture then, like, should we focus, like, where you saw the high percentage of them, like, do we grow from there, or do you see like other areas we should try to emphasize them, or like, how do we build corridors?
I think there are so many different opportunities, and we live in such a really cool place that you could try and see what would be most effective. I'm not super familiar with all the different pollinators we have here, so I couldn't answer that like super correct. But I personally believe that it should be like a road system, whether it's a heavily trafficked road or not. At least you can get through and get to where you need to go safely. Yeah. Yeah. Did you have a question too, Michelle?
Brendan was gonna ask a question,
Sorry.
jumping in, great job,
Thank
really great, and, those are amazing testimonials. I mean, the second one was like, wow. So great job, and I think, it is incredible that you had 20 respondents. I mean, that really just doesn't happen that frequently, so you articulated it really well and it's approachable, and I like you mentioned the value of storytelling. I think that that's really compelling to be part of that. So kind of two questions. One, with your map where you show, who has put in their garden in a box.
Mhm.
Do you have any inclination, or did you and Sally kind of talk about why there was more density in one place versus another? Like, do you think there's kind of the neighborhood effect, which, as we know, is sometimes positive, sometimes not? Any thoughts there as to what, explains, any patterns that you saw or the density of garden in a box?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that up until now, but now that you say that, there's condos over there and there's condos over there, and this is where all the houses are. So it kind of makes sense that a lot of the gardens were planted in these kind of general areas. But there's so much room to expand, and there's no reason why we can't plant them in condos. So yeah.
I live in Steamboat too, so that's,
Yeah.
I thought about the map because all my neighbors were doing it, so, then I knew we had like 6 or 7 there, so I was like, that's kind of cool, like, let's show a heat map of where all, and like, and just, and why, I don't know, I think it's neighbors, but I think it's a lot of neighbors looking at neighbors and seeing this, yeah.
Absolutely. Two hands went up at the same time. Wayne, thank you so much.
Curious, was there any communication involved with local landscaping companies or contractors?
Not with me personally, but I think that would be incredible. And Sally and I kind of chatted about some of the places in town that would be cool to work with. I had worked for a landscaping place last summer and they planted a lot of similar plants as Garden in a Box. So there's most definitely room for collaboration.
Because I confess, I wasn't prepared to do the planting myself.
Yep.
85 degrees.
Yeah.
But the young couple helps with that. We're thrilled, and I'd say, here's the stuff.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
I wonder if there's an opportunity in the future for some kind of outreach like Taylor did among the landscaping companies to just do a survey and find out, is this useful? They may already have commitments with providers for the grants locally that they want to stay with. It's another potential.
And it would really help understanding corridors too, because if everybody's planting very similar pollinator friendly plants, then we know we might not have to focus so much on this area as this area. So that's a really great idea.
You open their minds, people who traditionally just done their favorite beautiful flowers, and it's purely aesthetics, to give them this opportunity to say these are not only beautiful, but they're native, and these different collections are suitable for these kinds of things.
Garden in a Box does a really great job communicating and figuring out what works best with people. If they are prioritizing aesthetics, then they work with that because that's what gets people participated, is doing what they want. And so they still incorporate the pollinator friendly plants, but they do it a little bit more strategically so they can get what they want and they can get what they want. Yeah. Sally.
Comment first. You guys get to see what I got to work with this year, which was amazing, smart, enthusiastic. Really, everything was well thought out. She did this web map within like the first week and was already looking at other web maps to make, and it kind of blew my mind. So, and every time I asked Lily, can you do a youth water fest with me, which no one else wanted to do. She did it in a heartbeat, and would just come with me to whatever I asked her to. So it's been an amazing year or semester, fall. And, I've told you, I think that you have many talents, one being, you could be a GIS professional, you could have your own consultation, business, but I also think that, law is something you're, like, you're a lawyer. And I just kind of wondered what you want to do after this. We talked about it, but
Well, the first thing I want to do is go to Costa Rica. I have been looking into different master programs, which I've been talking with Nathan about, and we're going to try to go over a couple different options for me. There's a really cool biodiversity conservation data analytic, which it's a mouthful, but it's designed for me. And so I'm going to try to apply for that. I would love to continue to work with GIS, but if I can feel good about my work, then I'm going to be happy what I'm doing. And I mean, you guys make that so easy to do. Yeah. So
You think there was more color here to see the county?
probably,
Unless more.
Definitely one that's, I thought ours was a good thing, so there. Like flat actual per. I thought I saw that, so I was like, that's nice.
you guys are totally on there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Count out, I needed to say that.
Oh, nice.
They putting us on this.
You go, Kayla.
Yes, the citizen science program. I love your one.
Thank you for that.
Oh, it's a great tool. For sure. Neighbor to neighbor, but there's that clear support. I wonder if that's right for citizens program to sit with the expansion of Garden in the Box. The citizens might have some interest in having the literacy.
CSU has a native pollinator citizen science project, so it could be
Ooh.
really cool to use the environmental sites and all.
It'd be powerful to even change potential.
That would be absolutely incredible. As Sally knows, I was immediately into the bugs when we first started talking about garden in the box. So I think that would just be an incredible study and a great opportunity for another intern as well.
Awesome job. That was great. I was just curious, you mentioned that the demographic of folks that purchase these are widely older white women.
Mhm.
Do you have any thoughts or ideas for how we could maybe try to branch out and create more variety in people that are utilizing this, or just any thoughts or ideas about how to kind of expand out of that bubble?
I think there's so many different opportunities. I think talking with people like a Kayla is a great way to expand this opportunity to people closer to your age, or at the college, maybe getting people to go down to Bears Park and being like, hey, you can have this in your yard. And this is good that's going to be doing in your yard. Sorry. Told you I forgot how to speak English. So, but yeah. Sorry, I just almost made a whole mess of this. Any other questions?
I'll just tap on that. I really appreciate the mention of, equity, and so there is this opportunity, I think, so. Water conservation, especially saving water, treated water for outdoor irrigation, as mentioned, is really important. It's in the climate action plan. And there is climate equity is moving forward, and so it is an opportunity to think about how do we increase the number of participants, and how do we reduce barriers, if it's cost or if it's about getting the information out. And so I think that there's a real there. I think that was a really great point to make. Home ownership model, like if it's the multiple family units or the condos and they don't have space, is there an opportunity to create other kind of offsets or places for people to to have that, but if it's only, you know, single family unit homes, but it's just a really great place for us to kind of explore opportunities for expanding the number of individuals participating and diversity of those that benefit from that. Patients, that's great.
I hadn't mentioned it, but when we had first started, I talked about reaching out to the trailer parks. Like I said, I'm very invested in the trailer parks right now. These communities are so strong and they are so tight knit. It's inspiring. I've been working with the campaign over the summer in Hayden, and just the way that our communities gotten together, no matter how different we are, has been just life changing. So even just posting up a sign or a couple of boxes in front of a mobile home park, which are incredibly diverse areas, then you could reach a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you guys so much.